So I'm Clay Souza. I'm a wedding and portrait photographer in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and you are at Clay Souza Official, where we talk about photography, most specifically flash photography and the 3 pillars of an amazing photography, which are lighting, composition, and posing. Always remembering that posing goes hand in hand with directing. If you cannot direct, you're not going to be able to pose well. All right. And every Monday and Wednesday we go live to talk about photography. And tonight we have a treat. We're going to talk about lighting modifiers. And I'm going to talk about 2 modifiers that I use randomly, but they are very good modifiers. I think they're overlooked. And we can create some beautiful things, and I bet some people don't even know they exist. All right, so thank you for being here, guys. I really appreciate your support. I really appreciate you being here every week with me, and it's hump day, so let's get going. Before we start talking about the light modifiers, let's go through some questions that I got this week. Okay, so I picked like 3 questions to answer today, because somebody's question may be also your question. Maybe the answer is going to help them and also help you. I have already answered those questions, so I just want to bring them to you. So question number 1 is, how do you know which modifier to use? That is a great question, because there is such an array of modifiers, and I don't think there's ever an end to this. There's always create some new modifiers and coming up with new stuff. So I think this question ties up with everything that I've been talking about since the beginning of this lives that I've been making, right? It's all about what do you want from your picture. You need to know what the final product is. That's going to help you to choose the modifier that you want. If you want a little bit of harder shadows, you don't want to use a softbox, you want to use more direct lighting. You may want to use, if you want a little bit more more sparkling highlights, so you may want to use a beauty dish. If you want soft light, you want a bigger modifier that has a few layers of diffusion, which would be a soft box. Most of the time, most photographers are going to use a soft box. You can also use an umbrella, which also works very well with some considerations, but how you choose the modifier, it all depends what the final product you want, what you want your picture, your image to look like at the end. So once you answer that question in your head, then you know how to pick the right modifier. Okay, and I'm going to go through some modifiers here tonight, so you can kind of look at those and kind of figure out what you want. All right. The second question is really not a question, more of a request, but talking about lighting patterns, which is a really good topic to talk about. I did a full live on when we did the headshots downstairs here at home with Danny and me. So I showed how to create several lighting patterns. I showed, I think, like split lighting, I showed Rembrandt lighting, I showed loop lighting, and how to create those. If you scroll through the feed towards the middle and bottom, you're going to find that live where I show, I mean, we really recorded live our shooting and talking and moving lights, everything. That was the live topic for the night. So it's there, so just look for it on the feed. You're going to find it. Okay. And this third question is asking for a recommendation on light stands. Here's my take on light stand. Light stand comes, oh my god, I mean, you have all range of light stand. You can buy $50-$60 light stands, and you can buy light stand that's like $200-$300. It all depends what you want. My approach is that if I'm going to put a $600, $700, $500 light on a light stand, I don't want a cheap light stand. That light stand is going to break. It's going to drop your light, and your light's going to break. So your expense is going to be bigger at the end of the day. So I always buy good light stands. I've searched a lot of them. Oh gosh, I went through a whole array of light stands that I owned until I found ones that I like. The ones that I like, I'm going to look here, that I have open here on the computer. The ones that I use are the Manfrotto 1004 BAC. They have 4 sessions. They are very good, very sturdy. Not cheap though, not the cheapest one. I have those for about 3 years now, and they still work like, you know, like, as you guys know, we are a very busy studio here. We shooting all the time, and those are the light stands that I have. I have 4 of them. I bring 4 of them every wedding that I photograph. And they've been through a lot. They've been in the rain, beach, sun, and they work great. And they're totally reliable. They're really strong light stands. So it's the Manfrotto 1004 BAC 144-inch. It's air cushioned. It's important that you have a light stand that air cushioned, so when you unscrew it, when you loosen the session, so the session is not going to bang and break your lights, right? So it will come down and stop and fold smoothly when you fold them. So it's bottom line here, it's very important to have good light stands. If you have good lighting, if you don't want to put like a $600-700 piece of lighting on a cheap $100 light stand, because that light stand is not going to hold it, it's going to drop your light and it's going to break. It happened to me, and it will happen to you too. So don't save money on light stand. Buy the good stuff. You buy one time and you don't have to buy it again. All right, so those are the 3 questions that I had to I want to address for this live, because they have a little bit of the same topic that we're going to talk about tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about light modifiers. What are light modifiers? Light modifiers are equipment that you put in front of the light to, like the name says, to modify your light. You can make the light a little bit softer. You can make the light a little bit more directional, depending on which type of light modifiers we have. There is a whole array of light modifiers in the market today, and that's what makes the question, which one to use. There's so many out there, and which one do we use, right? So I'm going to start with the cheapest one, the most simple one, and a lot of people know this one. I think most people know this one, which is the umbrella. I have one umbrella here. So this is a really simple shoot-through umbrella, right? So it's just an umbrella. That's what it is. So it's a shoot-through umbrella. This goes on your light stand, and the light goes over here, and you shoot through. That's called a shoot-through umbrella. It's important to differentiate a shoot-through umbrella from another type of umbrella, which is a bouncing or reflective umbrella. A reflective, I have one downstairs, but it's so big that I didn't want to bring up here. A reflective umbrella, it's black on the outside, on the outside, and it's reflective inside. And instead of putting the light facing the subject, you put the light facing the umbrella, where the light will fire into the umbrella and it reflects back to the subject. When you use that system, you lose a little bit of light, because the light's traveling longer, so it's bouncing and going back, so you need a little bit more power. So what's the advantage of the umbrella? Umbrella are great. They create soft light. They are very cheap. You can buy this for $50-60, and sometimes even cheaper depending on the size of it. It's very good because it's cheap. So if you're starting now, this is the way I would go. I would go with an umbrella. So if you have, maybe you have like one speed light and you don't know which type of modifier you're going to buy an umbrella. Buy an umbrella for you to experiment, because it's cheap. You're going to learn a lot with the umbrella, because it's a really decent modifier. What are the drawbacks of using an umbrella? You don't have much control over light on an umbrella, because what happens is the light hits the umbrella and goes kind of all over, right? Once the light hits the umbrella, it goes all over. You kind of don't have much control over it. Okay, so that's one thing to watch for when you use an umbrella. So you're gonna get light spills all over. Another drawback also of the umbrella is that if you're using this outdoors, it will catch wind like crazy, so it becomes a parachute. So you have to be careful with this, because then you have your light on that beautiful light stand that we were talking about a few minutes ago, and then you have an umbrella, you have your light in there, and then any breeze that will catch on the umbrella and will drop your light. Then your umbrella probably will break, your light will probably break. So if you're using an umbrella outdoors, use weights on the light stand. So if a breeze catches the umbrella, we will not going to drop it. And if you have a lighting assistant, just ask the lighting assistant to grab the stand and hold it. But it's a beautiful modifier with these two drawbacks. You don't have much control of the light. You will spill the light all over, and outdoors it catches wind a lot. So it's kind of dangerous thing. Okay, so one modifier that I use, I don't want to say, I think I use a lot. That's right, be careful with the wind. It's this guy over here. This guy is called a mag sphere. This is a mag mod product. I need to say this, I'm not sponsored by MagMod. I have no affiliation with MagMod at all, but every time I talk about modifiers, I need to talk about MagMod. Why? Because that's what I use. I use the MagMod system for every photo shoot. So I do have other soft boxes, but the soft box that I use, it's always the MagMod because it's easy. So, but I have no affiliation with the company, so I'm not getting paid to talk about them. It's just great tools to use. So this guy over here, this guy is called a mag sphere. So it's magnetic here. On your flash or your ADs, you're gonna have a mag grip where you put it in there, and that's how it just magnetically attached to your flash. Okay, so let's talk about this guy a little bit here. So because if you look at the size, it's not big, right? And what makes soft light? What makes a soft light? What makes soft light is the size of the modifier. This is not much bigger than a flash head. So don't expect to get soft light from this guy. It's great for field light though. When do I use the MagMod the most? When I'm shooting outside and I have good natural light and I need some type of field light. So then I use this guy. This guy works as a field light. So I'm using the sun as the key light or main light. All right, and I'm using this guy as a field light. So it works great for that because it's light, it's easy to carry, you can put in your bag, it's silicone, so we will not break. All right, and it's so easy to put on. There's no Velcro, there's nothing. You just attach to it. It just magnetically. There are two magnets here. We just attach to it, and it just sticks to your light if you have the mag grip on it. You're going to need a mag, it's called a mag grip on it. So if you want more information about this, guys, let me know. I'll just DM me. I'll point you in the right direction, their website. Again, no affiliation with MagMod at all. All right, but that's a very useful modifier. I think Jeff is here. Jeff is being my lighting assistant for some time now. Jeff is with me on almost every single wedding that I shoot. He knows that I use this a lot. He can talk to you about this. Always, Jeff, get me this with a mag sphere in it, because I kind of like the way it works. It's very easy. So, but do not expect soft light from this. No, if you shoot in the dark expecting soft light, this is not going to cut it. All right, this is really good for field light. All right, it breaks a little bit the hardness of the light. All right, probably the most the modifier that people know the most because they see it all over is a softbox. So I have one from MagMod here. This is a softbox, right? So this guy here is closed, so let's pop it open. here, and there you go. That's a softbox. That's a small. They just came up with a new another size now, a bigger one. This is the smaller one, right? I don't know if it's 26 inch or 24. I don't know which one is it, but something like this. I use this guy a lot. It has a diffusion layer here. All right, so you just put it in here, in the front. Yeah, you just put it all over, and that's how it looks like, kind of, right? And the light hits, this hits on a light stand, so your light will go over here. Let me see if I can get a grip on this. There you go. Yeah, so your light will go over here and hits this diffusion panel on the front here and make the light bigger and softer. Remember what I just said. So what makes a light softer is one of the components of a soft light is the size of the modifier. So if you put like any light in here, it's going to make the light much bigger and much softer. So this is probably the modifier that I use the most. I'm always shooting with a soft box. One of the reasons I have the MagMod system is because it's easy. It collapses easily here. Very easy to put it on and use it. All right. So now that you have all of these guys, okay, these three ones that I showed you, except the umbrella, don't use the umbrella much. I mean, I don't even remember the last time I used the umbrella because my photo shoots are mostly outdoor, so I don't really want to be shooting outdoors and see my lights, you know, gone with the wind. No, I try not to use it outside. But there are a few other things that I want to talk about. Where is it? This guy over here. You know what this is? This is called a Snoot. Look. So this guy here is, you put this is also from MagMod. You just put this on your top of your flash, and all you have is this beam of light here. So it really directs the light into where you want to go. I really think this product here is a very underused product, because when you're talking about lighting, when we're talking about flash photography, when you talk about strobe photography, when you talk about, I like to call it created light, not natural light, but created light, light that we create, we always run into the issue of light spills, right? So you shoot the light and the light spills on the ground, spills on the walls, spills on the background, and that's the type of thing that you don't want. You're always looking for ways to control the light, how you control the light. So one of the ways controlling the light is using a grid. This is a grid that goes right into this guy over here, and the other side goes the flash. You can put the flash in here, so the grid, right? So because remember, we talked about this before. Remember that light travels this way, right? Light travels on an angle. It travels open and up, right? So when you use this guy over here, when you use a grid like this, you direct the light a little bit more. You end up getting a little bit more more power, actually, because now the light's a little bit more directional than if you shoot it bare, right? When you shoot it bare, it goes like this, okay? Whoop, like a whoop. Right? When you use this guy over here, you direct the light a little bit. When you use this combination here, so you're directing the light and you're softening the edges of the light. Okay? Because this will make your light a little bit harder because it's a little bit more direct. So I like using this combination here because it softens the edge of the light. But this guy here, what we call the Snoot, S-N-O-O-T, at least I think that's how we spell it, is a modifier in a category of itself. It creates very interesting light because that's the only beam of light that comes out of the flash, right? So let me show you one image that I create with this Snoot. I really think, I mean, I really believe this is a underused modifier, because it creates beautiful light. Not big light, but it creates beautiful light. And the amount of control that you have, the amount of light control you have with this guy here is pretty big. Let me show you one image that I created with this guy. So that image over there, that image was created downstairs in my living room there, right? This is a true light setup. I have a black background with a speed light pointing to the wall with a mask on it. So you see the patterns that you see that are the red patterns is a flash, as a speed light with a red gel and a mask on it. The mask creates the pattern, all right? And the only thing that's lighting this model is the Snoot. So this guy over here in another flash, right, on the top pointing down this way, right, to light the model. So this is the only thing that's lighting her face. Look how soft that light is. Look at the transition here on her left side. Look at the transition of lights to shadow on her face. Look how soft that is. The transition is soft. Then it goes all into dark. But this is the modifier that I use. The Snoot is the only thing that's lighting her. So there's a flash up higher pointing down like this, right? And she's looking towards the light, right? Switch her face to the light and look. I mean, I really think that's a beautiful image. It's not because I created it. I just think it's a very beautiful image. I really like that image. And that is created with this Snoot. Unfortunately, we don't see a whole lot of people using Snoots. I don't know why. I don't know if people don't think it's a useful modifier, but it creates beautiful light, a little bit more dramatic light. I mean, you don't have a whole lot of wiggling room when you're using it, because the light is so directed that you have to pose in the right position. You have to point the right position. One trick that I use, because there is the beam of light is so narrow that comes here, so narrow that you need to nail where the light's hitting. Okay, so if the light's a little bit lower, so if it's going to hit her the tip of her nose, it's going to light just half of her face, right? So it needs to be in the distance of the modifier and the direction, right? One trick that I do every time that I'm using a Snoot, I position it and ask the model, I ask the subject to close their eyes, and I hit the test button and I watch where the light is hitting on the face. Then I adjust accordingly to where I want it to hit. Instead of taking a picture, oh no, and go up, oh, take a picture, another picture and look at it, oh no, I need to go down now, and take another picture, so I need to move to the right, to the left. No, before taking the picture, I pose the model the way, the subject the way I want, and then I will use the test button on the flash, on my trigger, right, just to fire the flash and then see, so I can see where the light is hitting the subject, so to know if it's the right position or not. Just remember to ask a subject to close the eyes, so you're not blinding people all the time with this Snoot. So I really believe that, again, this is a modifier that is underused. I haven't seen a whole lot of work on it. Myself actually don't use it a lot, because I tend to use this in studio when I'm doing I'm shooting models and things that I have time to deal with, so then I tend to use it more than when I'm doing a wedding. I have used it in a wedding. during bridal portraits. It's not useful to do couples. I actually never tried it. It may be something that we can try to see how it works. Put the couple's face like side by side, something like that. But it works really well. One of the ideas here that I have used this actually. Oh, thank you. I have used it actually in more than one wedding. Let's say I have a light fixture here. Let's say I have a light fixture here, right? Light fixtures over here on the wall. Okay, so then I get the subject kind of the same position that the model on that image is now, looking towards the light fixture, and I have the snoot pointing to the subject. That and if I frame it well with the light fixture in it, like the with the light fixture on the frame, it will look like the light fixture is lighting the subject, especially now if you use a gel to match the same light temperature of the light fixture. It's going to look like nobody's not going to tell you that it's not the light fixture that's lighting her face, when in fact you have a external light, a created light here. So this is one of the things that this guy allows you to do. It's really cool. It's really very, very creative. I've been wanting to use it to do some ring shots because it points it being right there, and every time I just forget. I totally forget to use this when I'm doing ring shots on weddings. But it's something that's been in the back of my mind for a long time, to use this to do ring shots, to give it a try. Okay, so when we talk about lighting, every time we talk about lighting, created light, we're always talking about controlling the light. It's one of the biggest things that I see when people ask me to critique images and they send images to me that I look at them. It's one of the first things that there are two things that I look right away when I look at the image. How much light's being used. It's like is it recognizable that the photographer used flash? Okay, that's the first thing that I go for. If it's recognized, if I can tell that the photographer used flash, I mean, I will know if the photographer used flash now based on the background. But let's say if somebody who is not a photographer, if they can tell that the photographer used flash, unless it's creatively, that's the first flag that the flash was used in the wrong way. All right, that's one of the things that I look at. And the second thing that I look at is light spill. Where is that light spilling? How much control of light the photographer had when he created the image? And if you look at this image that's on the screen right now, you see how much light control I have. I don't have my light that's supposed to be on her spilling on the background. Right, the light that's supposed to be on her is only lighting her face. That was the goal of the image. This is not an image. This wasn't an image to be created where we should see all her body. No, was really to draw attention to her face. Okay, and to experiment also a little bit with the background. So you can see there's no light spills from the background into her, or not light spills from the light that's supposed to be on her into the background. That shows light control. This is why we have all these tools. We have the grids, you have the spheres, you have these snoots to control the light. Every time you photograph with flash, you should be aware of where your light's hitting, how much your light spills is happening. I can show you a few more images here. These were probably used with, let me go back to this other album, Instagram. So that image, for instance, right? This image was lit with a softbox. There are two lights on this image. Okay, so there's this guy over here, the softbox with a diffusion panel lighting the model, and there's another light behind her just to light that what looks like smoke, right? But it's really not smoke. It's the canned aerosol. It's just a canned air. So what I did, I put a green gel to contrast with her dress, all right? Because the green is on the other side of the color wheel. There's a little bit of a color theory here. I used green because green is on the other side of the color wheel of magenta. So you have red. Red is on the other side of cyan. Let me think about this. I have to think about this. Hold on. Yeah, red is on the other side of the cyan. Green, magenta, and blue on this other side of yellow. So every time you do that type of stuff, so you're thinking about lighting, you have to think about this color theory because they complement each other. All right, and this is just like two lights set up. There's one flash on the ground pointing back into the model, okay, into the senior in that case, pointing back into her. There's a buddy of mine who is spraying the air, the canned air in there, and I'm shooting. So the light on the back is lighting that looks like smoke, and it's really not smoke. But this is she is pretty much flat lit in there. I put the light dead straight on her because it was getting dark. I was a little bit concerned about how much shadows we're gonna get. All right, that is one of them. Let me show you another one that's probably also created with a softbox. A little bit of examples of softbox. Oh, this one here. So this is like one single light setup, right? So what I want to show you there, you can see how the couple is lit, but there's no light spills anywhere. You don't see light spills on the ground. You don't see light spills anywhere, right? The light is on them. The light is lighting them. And another fact is also, you can see, I mean, probably the image is too small here, but when you blow up this image and you look at it big, you can see every single detail on the dress. So there's no, we're not losing details when we light the dress, especially if you shoot weddings where the bride is wearing white and the guys are usually wearing dark, like either dark blue or black. It makes it a little bit tricky to balance the light, but what you need to be looking, always look at the highlights on the dress. You don't want to lose details on the bride dress. Okay, so you would be surprised to see how many photographers miss that point. How many images I look that the dress is just totally blown out. You can see any details on the bride dress, and that is like a huge no. It's getting even more interesting when you have mixed race couple. Let's say the groom is African American and the bride is white. So the bride is white wearing white and the groom is African American wearing black. Then the contrast is even bigger. That makes it even more interesting. But I'm always watching the highlights on the bride's dress. So the image was also lit with one single light source. It's just like one, I think was one flashpoint 600 watts, because the sunset it was the sunset time and we were losing light fast, so we need to balance the light well, and I need more power than what an AD200 could give me, so I had to use the big 600 on it. But again, I'll watch for the highlights and watch for the light spills. There's no light spills on the ground. There's no light spills anywhere. The light's not going anywhere where it needs to go but the couple. Okay, so one more image just before we close. Let's see what we find here. I don't even know what we have on my phone here. Oh, group shots, right? Let's do this. Bridal party. Look at that. Indoors. Bridal. This is great. Bridal party indoors, shot with the same one single light. So I flat lit them. When I say I flat lit them, means I put the light in front of them. The light's not on the side, the light's not on the other side. It's really pointing straight to them. And why did I flat lit them? Because if I put the light on the side, if I'm using one light source, what happens is that if I move the light to the side, the light's going to hit one person, and then the light's going to create a shadow that's going to hit the other person. So the person who is behind, the light hits the first, will have a shadow from the person on the front, right? So that's why I flat lit them. I could have used two lights, then I could have put the lights on the side, so one would fill up the shadows of the other. But again, weddings are running and gunning. We don't have a whole lot of time to do those pictures. I had like probably 5 minutes to create the image, and creating the image means you have to gather everybody, you have to pose everybody, you have to check everybody, and have to light, you have to shoot. I probably had like no more than 10 minutes to create that image. All right, on a very busy wedding. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of stuff happening at the same time. The time we shot this image, they were actually flipping the room around us to do the dinner. So it was like, these are the only spot that we had, and that's where we wanted to be. But I claimed that spot. I said I'm going to do my portraits here, and I'm hearing all the noise behind me. They flipping the room, and I'm trying to get people together. I'm trying to get people focused and light them. So when you're in those situations, you don't have time to go and grab another light stand, grab another softbox, grab another set of lights, put in there, balance those lights, and make it happen. No, it's running and gun. You got to go and boom, 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 and get it done quickly. So that's why I flat lit them, because every time you flat light somebody, you know it's going to be a good light. If you have the right power, you know it's going to be a good light. But as you can see, there's no light spilling on the background. There's no, you look at the bride dress, it's not blown out. You can see the details, and everything looks fine. One single light. I am one light type of photographer. I always try to do everything that I can on a wedding day with one light, because that saves me time. I'm not running and trying to balance lights and channels and groups, all that kind of stuff. I think that's crazy, but you know, that's just me, and that's what works for me. I work very fast on a wedding day because I work with one light, and you can do a lot with one light. So and I think it's important to say that photographers sometimes they think, oh, I don't get good image because I don't have a good camera, or I don't have good image because I don't have those lenses, that lens. Stop blaming the gear, right? I can create those images with I still have the cameras that I started with here 7 years ago. I can create the very same image with the same camera that I did that I used in the beginning. So I think there's one question here. So what kind of light did you use, and what was the power? I can tell you what kind of light I use. Power I cannot tell you because I don't remember. I just shoot. I look. Okay, it's dark. We need more light. Is it too much light? We just cut the light off. I use for the image, for the last image that I showed, I used 2 ADs inside a Magmod softbox, or 2 ADs point direct to them inside the softbox. So I know I wasn't doing full power, but I don't remember. I never remember. I really do not care about figuring out the number that I'm putting on the light, how much power, which number I use. I pretty much take a shot, look at it. Oh, it's too bright. I cut the light off a little bit. Oh, it's too dark. I bring the light back on. That's pretty much what it is. But it was shot with 2 ADs and inside a softbox. Flat lit them. Okay, Well, I think that's all. Oh, what time is it? Oh my goodness, 8:55. I think that's all I have to say today, guys. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. And always remember that this live is going to be on the feed in a few minutes. Also upload to our YouTube channel, which is claysouzaofficial, and also if you want to rewatch it, there's a lot of good nuggets here and there on this live that you guys could listen to it again and learn. And if you have any questions about lighting, about flash, about anything about photography, just send me a DM. Okay, send me a DM, and I'm glad to answer any questions that you guys may have. Well, thank you so very much again for watching. Thank you so much for being here every week with me, and I have a great time. I was on holiday, on vacation 3 weeks ago. I really missed this. Was great. It's great to be back. It's great to be busy again in action. And there's still I'm looking here at something that I was supposed to talk about and did not have time. Another chance. We're gonna have another chance to talk about it. But if you have questions, let me know. Send me a DM. And if you know somebody who is a beginner photographer, natural light photographer, or want to learn about flash photography, bring them to our channel, Clay Souza Official. Always remembering that every Monday and Wednesday at 8:08 p.m. Eastern Time, we are here live to talk about flash photography. All right. Thank you so much. Hi, guys. Have a great night. I truly appreciate your support every week here with me, and I will see you live next week. Bye.